Some people seem to think that I just spend my time hating on Toyota, but those same people don't seem to be aware of one very important fact, and that is, I'm trying to warn you. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel on the Electric Viking, great to see you. Hope you've had an amazing week. Now incredible things are happening all over the world. Electric revolution, it's amazing. I mean, you can travel the world essentially for free now. The world is a totally different place. So many more people have so many options to not buy a car, to get an electric scooter, electric skateboard, electric bike. No registration needed. You can get to work, you can get to school. It costs you next to nothing. The world is getting better every day. Toyota, are they a part of the electric revolution? Well, I just want to point out a fact to you that if Toyota was so capable of manufacturing all the electric cars that people say they're going to make, why are they getting BYD to do it for them? Well, that's a rhetorical question for you. I've got another rhetorical question for you. Who is the most indebted company on the face of the earth? Yep, you probably guessed correctly. That is Toyota. Incredibly, second place is another automotive company, one who just fired its CEO. Not a good decision in my view. Anyhow, very political in Germany. Toyota is currently in the red more than $200 billion. Now, incredibly, that's actually less than they were in debt 6 months ago. The latest data from stockapps.com reveals that Toyota has not only overtaken Volkswagen as the most indebted automaker on the face of planet Earth, but they're also the most indebted company in the world. For the 2021-2022 fiscal year, Toyota will have accumulated net debt over $200 billion. Yes, of course, I know what you're saying, but debt is not so bad if you're making lots of money. That's true, until you stop making lots of money because you sell products people don't want. That is why I'm warning people. Of course, it can be normal for large corporations to run up high debts, especially in the automotive industry. Several manufacturers have recently invested into electrification. BYD, Tesla, all right? Lots of Chinese automakers. They weren't around 10 years ago. They weren't big players 10 years ago. They're now direct competition with Toyota. I mean, for example, BYD makes way more electric cars. In fact, 20 times more than Toyota currently manufactures. And they just said they're going to sell their cars now in Japan. They're going after the Japanese auto market. So everyone now is coming at Toyota. And they're not prepared for the electric revolution. Their investments, their current assets are internal combustion engine vehicle assets. Yes, they make a lot of hybrid vehicles. But seriously, how many people do you think really want a hybrid powered vehicle in 2030? I can tell you now, it's not going to be very many. So these debts that Toyota has become problematic when they exceed Toyota's assets. And the question is, when will their debts exceed their assets? Well, I think it's going to be within a few years' time. No one really knows though. This scenario will put Toyota at a huge risk of bankruptcy if it were to encounter significant financial obstacles, a reduction in its profits, a reduction in its demand. What does it do then? Can it pivot quickly? Can a huge company like Toyota just go, yeah, we're going to pivot really fast, start making millions of EVs? No, it can't. If it could, it wouldn't be getting BYD to make EVs for it. It would be doing it itself, right? Yeah. Toyota is not necessarily in a terrible situation, according to some people. Admittedly, though, it's true that the automaker remains at risk from the volatility of interest rates, but according to its financial statement from 2021-22, the company still has around $224 billion in current assets. When, though, will those assets simply become liabilities that hang it from a tree, like hanging itself around the neck with these so-called assets which become loss-making ventures? That could happen. soon. It could happen in 5 years. But regardless, it will happen at some period in time. Currently, yes, it's true. Toyota is profitable right now. For reference, it is already recording almost 600 million in profit, more than it did last year. However, disruptions in the market could, and in my view, will quickly destabilize it. And the other thing worth considering is this. What we know now is that supply chain problems in the industry, particularly in the automotive industry, hit fast, they hit hard. And the automotive industry is currently going through this sort of crunch right now. Toyota has said numerous times this year their production numbers for the year will be significantly downgraded because of supply chain problems. Toyota is not immune to those. Neither is Volkswagen, the second most indebted company on the face of the earth. For example, Toyota is currently experiencing challenges with supply internally, with such things like high voltage cables for RAV4 hybrids and the Prime, the recall of the BZ4X, Subaru Solterra, because the wheels are falling off and Toyota doesn't know why, and various other issues affecting their ability to produce the millions of cars that they have over the previous years. However, Volkswagen is following closely. The list of the 8 most indebted companies of 2022 includes 3 automakers, Toyota in first place, Volkswagen in second place, and Mercedes-Benz in 6th place. If the financial portrait of Mercedes-Benz seems all in all to be in good shape, well, Volkswagen, things are not going quite as well. Not far behind Toyota, Volkswagen is the second most indebted company in the world with a total debt of 185 billion US dollars. That's a lot of money. Volkswagen's deficit comes from 2 places. Long-term debts caused by the diesel engine scandal and all the money they've had to pay out, court costs, billions of dollars in fines, recalls. It's been an absolute nightmare for the company. And also, they're having to cover their costs of investing into electrification. That's cost them many billions of dollars. So, at some point in time, Toyota will have to do the same thing that Volkswagen is currently doing now. Invest more money into electrification. They have no choice if they want to stay alive. However, unlike Toyota, which still seems to be adapting badly to electrification, Volkswagen is in a better position thanks to its factories, right? Its electric vehicle factories. It has them in China. It's building them in China. It's building them in Europe. It has an ID family of electric cars. It's definitely way, way ahead of Toyota when it comes to electrifying its vehicle fleet. Now, not including hybrids or plug-in hybrids because, sorry, my friends, they are not the future of electrification. So they're not relevant to this discussion. Volkswagen is in the red on these investments into building electric cars. But it has a greater chance that those investments will actually pay off and they'll be able to pay that money back. Toyota, on the other hand, just has a mountain of debt. And in my view, not a really good, bright future or a real positive way on how they plan on going to pay that back. Now, if you know how they're going to do it, tell me, please. I'm all ears. I really want to know. But frankly, imagine if Kodak said to you, hey, don't worry about our debt. We're going to pay it off by selling analog film cameras 10 years after no one even wanted them. What would you say? You'd laugh, right? You'd say, bye-bye, Kodak. Well, what happened? The rest is history. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.